Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Good morning, third grade. My name is Mrs. Nixon. I am so excited to be here and support you as you become amazing thinkers, readers, and writers. Do you ever read the back of a book to figure out if it's something that you would be interested in reading? It's a great place to look. Oftentimes, the author will give just a small little snippet, just enough of a hook to see, is it something that you'd be interested in? So this one's called 3 Times Lucky. So I turned it over to read the back, and I've discovered it looks like it's a murder mystery. Eek! That is my most favorite type of book. So I'm going to have to check out this book and read it this weekend. Now, if you're looking for a fun book to read, you can do it several different ways. You can look at books at your local county library, or you can go online and check out a book using our Sora app. Now, in Fresno Unified, we love to celebrate our students who are checking out books using that Sora app. In fact, we even have a countdown and do a little shout out here. And so in first place, because it's Friday, in first place this last week was Heaton Elementary. You guys checked out the most books of all of Fresno Unified. So great job, Heaton. We are so proud of you. Keep up that good work. Now, it's super easy to get your school's name up here. All you need to do is check out a book through the Sora app and maybe tell a classmate or 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 and get your school up there. All right, great job. Now, another thing I always love to celebrate are these free activity books with PBS. If you send me your name and address to the address that's popping up right here on your screen, or even you can put it in an email and let me know what your address is, I'll make sure that one of these free activity books gets in the mail for you. There are lots of puzzles and coloring pages and mazes, all sorts of fun activities to help keep you busy over the weekends. Okay. Today, I have 3 things that we've been practicing all week. We're going to finish them up today. We've been talking about our inflectional endings, suffixes, and then we're going to finish up with a little comprehension around root words. Are you ready to start? Okay. Let's begin by looking at these high-frequency words. Now remember, high-frequency words, those are those words we come across often. We want to be able to read them, write them, spell them correctly, use them in our sentences. So let's go through and read them today. I know you've been practicing them all week. You want to do a race? All right, let's do it. On your marks, get set, go. Big, because, been, black, blue, before, both, best, bring, better. Did you beat me? Of course you did. Great job, third grade. All right, let's look at these last 2 that are right here. So I've got bring, B-R-I-N-G, and better, B-E-T-T-E-R. Okay, help me use these in a couple of sentences. Okay, I am getting at writing a paragraph. And can you your puppy out to play? All right. Well, if I didn't know, I could always just try and guess, right? Can you better your puppy out to play? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Can you bring your puppy out to play? Does that make sense? Yeah. I am getting better at writing a paragraph. What are you doing to get better about writing a paragraph? Are you practicing? I bet you are. Excellent. Okay, let's start with those inflectional endings. Now, we're really focusing on this week some of those spelling patterns because we want to make sure that we're good spellers. There are some rules when we add those inflectional endings, and when I say inflectional endings, I'm simply talking about when I want to add an S, ED, or ING. So let's look at a couple of spelling patterns here. Whenever I have a word that has a vowel and then the Y at the end, here's some examples, like the word boy, B-O-Y, so I've got a vowel, O, and Y, or convey, which has an E and then a Y. So both of these have that vowel and a Y. Look what our rule is. no spelling changes. So if I want to add S or ED, I don't have to change it at all. I can simply just do it. So if I want to say boys, I add an S. If I want to say conveyed, that means that I've told someone, I've shared something, I've conveyed the message, I've shared the message. Conveyed, I just add the ED. No spelling changes. Here's where we do have some spelling changes. If we have a consonant, those are all the letters other than A, E, I, O, and U. So if I have a consonant and then a Y, I need to change my Y to an I and then add my inflectional ending. So vary, so if something changes, it varies from school. So sometimes the rules vary from school to school. The rules, things are, how can I use varies in a sentence? It varies from school to school. There we go. So varies, I would change my Y to an I and add ES. Now study, if I want to say studied, I'm going to do the same thing. I got to, because I've got that consonant, which is a D, change that Y to an I, and then I can add ED. All right, so that's when adding S and ED. When we're adding ING, there are no spelling changes to any of the words that end with Y. It doesn't matter if they've got vowels or no vowels. So let's look up here. Let's take convey, and I want to put that with ING. I simply can take that word and no spelling changes, and I can say conveying. She is conveying her message. I can take study, and I can just add it to the ING, and again, no spelling changes. Leave that Y alone. Anytime we add ING, no big deal, add it to the Y. So this one's got the vowel, that one doesn't matter, stays the same. Great job. Okay, let's switch it up and talk a little bit about suffixes. Now, just a quick reminder that a base word is a word that can stand on its own and has its own meaning. So right here we've got sleep, thought, and dark. We can add to these words and make them multisyllabic by adding a suffix. Now, it's really important in 3rd grade and 4th grade and 5th grade and 6th grade. We're going to just keep working on it. We're building our vocabulary. If we can start to learn these suffixes, it's going to make sense in our reading and our writing. We're going to know what these words are. We're building our vocabulary. So less, anytime I see the suffix less on a word, I'm going to be thinking to myself, it means without. So if I have sleep, and I'm without sleep, my night was without sleep, I would say it was a very sleepless night, right? Sleepless. I didn't get any sleep. How about full? Anytime we add full to the end of a word, it means that we're full of something. So if I'm full of thoughtfulness, or I'm very caring, I can say that I'm thoughtful, okay? I'm full of being kind. And then ness means the state or condition of, and so when the lights go out, we're covered in darkness, right? That would be our state of, our condition of, right? We're in dark. Okay, today is Friday. This is our day where we get to do a little bit of application. So you're going to see in here a lot of suffixes that we've been practicing this week. And so a couple of things you might want to do. If you're watching this on the computer, you could pause it and write down some of these words that have those suffixes on there and see how many you come up with. Or you can sit and watch and just kind of read them to yourself and think about it yourself. Now this particular one is called rules for sitters. Now if you think about the word sitters, that's kind of just a short way of saying babysitters. So sometimes you'll hear it kind of like a nickname. Have you ever done any babysitting, or have you had a babysitter? Okay, if you're thinking about it, let's go and see some ideas here. Okay, so rules for sitters. Read with me. Taking care of kids can be stressful. You will find this out when you take care of kids yourself. You think you will be the cheerful, playful, lovable sitter of your dreams, but it is not that simple. For one thing, The second the grown-ups leave, children can be tempted to get into mischief. Even the most delightful, well-behaved child gets a powerful urge to act silly. But when children start acting silly, they get careless. When they are not careful, accidents happen. These accidents are predictable and preventable. It is pointless to give kids a list of rules and hope that they can remember to follow them. Just try to stay away from breakable things and be respectful. Respect yourself and respect others. This will keep avoidable accidents from happening. Oh my goodness, did you see all of those words with all of those suffixes in them? Just right here in the very beginning, we had things like stressful and cheerful, playful, lovable. Okay, we have so many of them. Did you find any more? Okay, help me out. Where did you see them? Okay, delightful, powerful, great, careful, careless. Those right there are opposites, right? So if you're careless, you're definitely not being careful. Can you see when you come across these words as you're reading? You really have to pay attention to what the words are saying because that's going to make the most sense. Okay. Lots more in here, and I know that you're going to find them, write them down, practice them, build them. Playing with words is always kind of a fun thing. I always enjoy it. Let's finish up today. Let's look at these root words, because remember, root words, being able to pull apart those prefixes and suffixes and inflectional endings, once we can kind of pull those off, can really help us make sense of what a word would mean. Now we're practicing with some easier ones, but as you are experiencing more and more reading, you come across words, this is kind of just that structure and how you do it. Okay, so read this with me. The baby was unhappy when she dropped her toy. So if we have the word unhappy, if we didn't know what that meant, we could think to ourselves, are there any prefixes or suffixes? What do you see? Yes, there's a prefix un. So what's our root word? Happy. Okay, so if I were to jump right over, I'd say, oh, that means happy. Hang on though, it doesn't mean just happy. It's got the prefix un. What does un mean? It means not. So when I have the word not in front of happy, what's my definition? Not happy. So the baby was not happy. Fantastic job. Okay, third grade, I am so excited that I got to hang out with you today and get ready for the weekend. And I want you to remember you're responsible for your learning success. So listen, ask questions, and share your ideas, because together we can do so much more. Have a fantastic day. Have a wonderful weekend. And I can't wait to see you back here on Monday. Okay, be safe. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Good morning to a brand new